If you are holding out for the next small form factor tablet from Apple, or if you have ever felt like the tech giant completely forgot about people who prefer a screen that actually fits in one hand, stop what you are doing and listen very closely. Because what is currently leaking out of Cupertino about the upcoming iPad Mini 8 changes everything you thought you knew about portable power. For years, buying a small tablet meant making compromises. You accepted a lower tier screen, you lived with performance throttling, and you crossed your fingers hoping it would handle heavy multitasking without stuttering. But Apple is about to completely obliterate that compromise. This is not just another minor spec bump with a slightly faster chip and a recycled aluminum shell. This is shaping up to be the most radical, aggressive, and disruptive redesign in the entire history of the iPad mini lineup. And if you buy an older model right now without knowing what is coming down the pipeline later this year, you are going to experience serious regret the second these new features drop. We are looking at a complete architectural overhaul, an entirely new display technology that fixes the biggest annoyance tablet users have complained about for years, performance specs that rival full-blown desktop computers, and a durability upgrade that no iPad in history has ever possessed. So settle in, keep listening, and let us break down exactly why the iPad Mini 8 is capturing the attention of tech enthusiasts across the United States and why it might just be the most important gadget release of the year. To understand why this upcoming release is causing such a massive stir across supply chain leaks and developer forums, we have to look at what came before and why people were starting to get restless. The compact tablet market has been in a strange state of stagnation. Competitors largely abandoned the small form factor, leaving Apple sitting comfortably on a throne with zero real competition. When you have no competition, you can afford to take your time. You can drip-feed minor updates, keep old display panels, and save the real innovations for the massive, expensive Pro models. For a long time, the iPad Mini occupied a niche space. It was beloved by pilots, digital artists who wanted a digital sketchbook, field workers, and hardcore readers who found standard tablets too heavy and smartphones too small. Yet, it always felt like a secondary device. It had a ceiling. If you wanted the absolute best screen technology, you had to buy a massive tablet that defeated the entire purpose of portability. If you wanted raw, uncompromised processing power for heavy creative workflows or intensive gaming, you had to look elsewhere. But the whispers coming out of the manufacturing hubs and internal software builds point to a massive shift in philosophy. Apple is no longer treating the Mini as an afterthought or a budget entry point into the tablet ecosystem. They are stripping away the limitations, upgrading the core components to flagship status, and turning this little device into an absolute powerhouse. And it all starts with the screen. Let us address the elephant in the room, the display. If you have ever used a previous generation model for long hours of reading, scrolling, or editing, you likely noticed a couple of persistent hardware traits. For one, scrolling text on an LCD panel at lower brightness or fast speeds often introduced that frustrating visual quirk known as jelly scrolling, where one side of the panel refreshes a fraction of a millisecond slower than the other. It was a byproduct of the controller placement on the portrait-oriented LCD screen, and while many users grew accustomed to it, enthusiasts always called it out as a flaw unworthy of a premium device. Furthermore, traditional liquid crystal displays rely on a massive backlight. That means true blacks are physically impossible. When you watch a movie in a darkroom, blacks always look like a washed-out, glowing dark gray, bleeding light around the edges. Contrast suffers, HDR content lacks that explosive pop, and battery efficiency takes a hit because the entire backlight has to stay powered on even if you are just looking at a tiny patch of white text on a black background. That era is officially coming to an end. The iPad Mini 8 is slated to make the monumental leap to OLED technology. Think about what that actually means for a device you hold inches from your face. With OLED, every single pixel is its own independent light source. When a pixel needs to display black, it turns completely off. It does not dim, it goes pitch black. The contrast ratio becomes infinitely high. Colors do not just look vibrant, they leap off the glass with a cinematic depth that makes watching HDR video on a compact screen feel like you are holding a miniature high-end television in your hands. But the visual upgrade goes even deeper than just contrast. Industry analysts following the display supply chains note that Apple is not just swapping the panel type, they are actively shrinking the bezels surrounding the glass. By trimming down those black borders, The physical display footprint is rumored to stretch out slightly, moving from the traditional 8.3 inches up to roughly 8.5 inches, all without making the actual physical body of the tablet any wider or bulkier to hold. You get more screen estate in the exact same footprint. It is a masterclass in industrial design efficiency. Imagine pulling a device out of your bag that feels feather-light, fits easily into a jacket pocket or a small compartment, and yet gives you an edge-to-edge, flawless organic light-emitting diode window that obliterates motion blur, eliminates jelly scrolling entirely, and renders deep, inky blacks that make media consumption an absolute joy. Yet, a gorgeous screen means nothing if the engine driving it cannot keep up. And this is where the leaks transition from impressive to genuinely shocking. Apple is widely expected to pack the architecture of their bleeding-edge silicon right into this pocket-sized chassis, pointing directly toward the powerhouse A19 Pro chip family. Think about what that processor represents. This is the kind of heavy-duty silicon designed to handle extreme computing loads, advanced machine learning tasks, and console-quality gaming. We are talking about hardware-accelerated ray tracing baked right into the GPU. If you enjoy mobile gaming, this changes the game completely. Titles that previously required massive cooling systems and large gaming rigs can now run locally on a tablet you can hold in one hand while sitting on a couch, an airplane, or a coffee shop. Frame rates will be high, lighting effects will look remarkably realistic with hardware ray tracing enabled, and thermal management will handle extended sessions without breaking a sweat. Beyond gaming, the inclusion of top-tier silicon is entirely necessary for what Apple is building out on the software side. Apple Intelligence and advanced generative AI tools require immense local processing capabilities. Running complex language models, real-time writing assistants, on-device image synthesis, and deep system context awareness cannot rely entirely on cloud servers. It demands a heavy neural engine right on the chip. By outfitting the iPad Mini 8 with a processor of this caliber, Apple is future-proofing the device for years to come. You are not buying a machine that will feel sluggish in 12 months when the next wave of software features rolls out. You are getting a device equipped to handle heavy multitasking, split-screen workflows, rapid photo rendering, 4K video timeline scrubbing, and deep artificial intelligence integration natively on device. Paired with massive leaps in unified memory capacity, the app switching experience will be instantaneous. Apps will stay resident in memory without constantly reloading, and heavy creative applications will open in a blink. Let us talk about durability, because this is an area where tablets have historically been treated with kid gloves. If you take a standard tablet near a kitchen sink, a pool, a sandy beach, or out into heavy rain, you are taking a massive gamble. Water and electronics do not mix, and tablets have traditionally lacked any official ingress protection ratings whatsoever. One accidental splash, one spilled cup of coffee, or a sudden downpour while commuting can instantly brick a $1,000 device. But reports indicate that Apple is engineering a major structural revolution specifically to bring robust water resistance to the iPad Mini 8. Achieving water resistance on a tablet is a massive engineering hurdle. Why? Because of speaker grills. Traditional tablets require large openings carved into the aluminum housing to let air and sound push through dynamic speaker drivers. Those open holes are literal highways for water, moisture, and dust to enter the sensitive electronics. Inside. To overcome this, Apple is reportedly deploying a completely radical acoustic solution, holeless, vibration-based audio technology. Instead of punching traditional speaker holes into the chassis, the tablet's entire outer aluminum frame and display assembly act as a unified resonating surface driven by internal actuators. The chassis itself becomes the speaker membrane. This design choice completely eliminates the vulnerability points. With no open grills for liquid to sneak through, Apple can seal the internal components to achieve official water and dust resistance ratings comparable to what we see on flagship smartphones. Think about how liberating that is for daily use. You can read recipes in the kitchen without worrying about splattering water. You can sit by the pool or read on a beach without guarding your device like your life depends on it. You can travel, work outdoors, and use your tablet in unpredictable environments without that constant low-level anxiety in the back of your mind. And the best part? Audio quality does not suffer. In fact, utilizing the structural framing as an acoustic surface creates a unique, immersive soundstage that wraps around you. Connectivity and ecosystem integration are also receiving a massive overhaul.
Rumors point to the integration of cutting-edge wireless standards, including support for Wi-Fi 7.
If you have a compatible home or office router, Wi-Fi 7 opens up multi-link operation and wider channels that drastically reduce latency, boost data transfer speeds, and maintain rock-solid connection stability even in congested network environments. Moving large files, streaming high bitrate media, and syncing massive cloud libraries happen almost instantaneously. Furthermore, Apple is refining physical ergonomics. Following the design philosophy of their latest hardware updates, small layout tweaks such as optimizing the front-facing camera placement along the landscape edge ensure that when you dock your tablet or prop it up on a stand for a video call or a FaceTime meeting, your eyes look natural rather than staring off to the side. Every single millimeter of the device is being scrutinized and refined to provide a seamless user experience. Now, let us address the elephant in the room that everyone in the tech community is whispering about: the price tag. All of these upgrades, the switch to organic light-emitting diode panels, the engineering marvel of holeless acoustic water resistance, the integration of bleeding-edge silicon, and the bump and base specifications, do not come cheap to manufacture. Industry analysts and supply chain insiders note that because of these premium material costs, the iPad Mini 8 is widely expected to see a price adjustment upward from previous generations.
When you introduce cutting-edge tech into a small form factor body, production expenses rise. This has led many prospective buyers to ask a very logical question: is it actually worth waiting for, or should you just grab a heavily discounted older model right now? To answer that, you have to look at how you use your tech. If you only use a tablet for casual ebook reading or basic media streaming while traveling, an older model on clearance might look tempting. But if you value longevity, if you want a screen that completely eliminates jelly scrolling and delivers true blacks, if you want a device that can handle heavy gaming and intensive multitasking without breaking a sweat, and if you want the peace of mind that comes with official water resistance, settling for old technology is a false economy. You would be buying into a dead-end architecture right before a massive generational leap. The iPad Mini 8 represents a complete paradigm shift for small tablets. It bridges the gap between ultra-portability and uncompromised flagship performance.
It proves that you no longer have to choose between a device that fits in your hand and a device that packs the absolute best technology Apple has to offer.